Go.
Hi everyone, my name is John Torrey. Today I'm going to read to you one of my favorite Christmas books. It's a story about a little mouse named Truffle who is interested in getting Christmas gifts. And I just think Truffle is really cute, and this is one of my favorite books to read at Christmas time, and I'm glad to share it with you. It's called Truffle's Christmas. Christmas was coming. All the little mice had finished their letters to Santa. All, that is, except for Truffle. He couldn't decide what he wanted. I'd really love a hula hoop, but I wish we had a blanket, a nice new blanket without any holes. Then again... You'll have to decide, said Emmeline, his big sister, who always knew best, or Santa won't bring you anything. Here, you'd better start. Oh, all right. A hula hoop, then, said Truffle, throwing away his letter. He put his new letter into an envelope and addressed it to Santa Claus, North Pole. On Christmas Eve, the mice hung their stockings up in a neat row. I'm getting a nurse's uniform, announced Emmeline. I'm getting a chemistry set, said George, Truffle's big brother. The littlest mice squeaked excitedly. They wanted teddy bears. Then all the mice went off to bed. Mother Mouse put their blanket over them and tucked them in. It wasn't a very big blanket, and it didn't quite cover them all. Emmeline got most of the blanket because she was the oldest, then George, then Truffle. But the littlest mice got none. They lay there shivering in the cold. So Truffle gave them his part of the blanket, but now he was cold. Darn, said Truffle, as he stared out into the darkness. I wish I'd asked for a blanket, and not a hula hoop. Suddenly, he sat up. I know. I'll wait for Santa to tell him I've changed my mind. He crept out of bed and tiptoed to the mouse hole door. There he waited and waited, but Santa didn't come. I can't see here, grumbled Truffle. I'll go outside where I can see further. I better take something to eat, in case I get hungry. He packed an apple core, a bread crust, and half a peanut, and off he went into the night, dragging his picnic behind him. It was very cold. In the woods, a fox barked and an owl hooted. A tabby cat pricked up her ears. Truffle was scared, but he trudged on and on. The clouds covered the stars. It was very dark. Truffle felt all alone and very tired. He sat down and tried to watch for Santa, but his eyes kept shutting. Softly, it started to snow. Truffle fell asleep. Now, said the fox, before the snow covers him. Now, said the owl, before the greedy fox gets him. Now, said the tabby cat, because I'm very, very hungry. Then, just before the fox jumped, and the owl swooped, and the tabby cat pounced, there was a tinkling and a jingling of sleigh bells. There was a rattling and creaking of harnesses. There was a pattering and shuffling of hooves. But Truffle was sound asleep and didn't notice a thing. Until a reindeer snorted in his face and woke him up. Eek! Squeaked Truffle. What's this? Said Santa. A poor little mouse. Truffle shivered. Why aren't you in bed? Asked Santa. I came out here to find you, mumbled Truffle, still half asleep and rather muddled. I wanted a hula hoop, but we really need a blanket. Said Santa. I think it's time I took you home. He tucked Truffle into his pocket, and away they went. over the fox and the owl and the tabby cat, over the forest and hills, over the fields and bushes. Finally, they reached Truffle's home. Truffle was asleep again, so sound asleep that he didn't even stir when Santa fished him out of his pocket and returned him to the mouse hole. Santa spotted a crumpled piece of paper on the ground. He unfolded it carefully. "Dear Santa," it said in tiny mouse letters, "I would like a hula hoop, blanket, hula hoop, blanket." "Aha," said Santa. "I see." Emmeline was the first to wake up on Christmas morning. She squealed loudly and woke up George, Truffle, and the littlest mice. They all squeaked too, for not only were they lying under the reddest, warmest, coziest blanket they had ever seen, but they were lying on the most beautiful bed in the whole world. And Emmeline had her nurse's uniform. George had his chemistry set. The littlest mice had their tiny teddies. And Truffle had his hula hoop. He smiled happily, and on his whiskers still clung a little bit of red fluff from the bottom of Santa's pocket. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story. I'd like to thank Orchard Books for publishing this wonderful book. I hope you have a lovely Advent and a very Merry Christmas. Thank you for listening.